What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the PlayStation Showcase one last time, honestly, before it gets announced. Otherwise, I feel like we just have some major problems. So, just felt a spur of the moment kind of thing. Here we are, Tuesday night, no announcement. It's got to be the next 2 days, right? And I don't think now is like the complete perfect time to, jump ship and complain really, really loudly, although maybe in some way that's what I'm doing right now. But I do think we're kind of right around the corners for that, right? For a lot of the reasons that we've talked about in the past, I think it's happening or going to be announced in the next 2 days. Now, I think also within the next 2 days, maybe Thursday, but I saw some people say Wednesday, so I'm not actually sure what's going on with this. If you guys know, maybe you can let me know in the comments. The Sony, actual meeting, right, where they talk about the future. And then there's the PlayStation specific part to that, I guess, even though that's going to be part of the one tomorrow or Thursday anyway. It's going to be next week. You might get some info from that, and so the next couple days might be worth watching anyway. And when I say, okay, what could actually happen from that, if you're going to get any indicator that they're going, and I would argue this, this is probably the biggest thing you might see, the multi-platform kind of thing. And I'm not saying necessarily going over to Xbox. I don't know if they would do it. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for them. I don't know if that's the right plan for them. I mean, ultimately they would have to do it, not do it, and we have to see where it lands. But something like that, a multi-platform like strategy, if they were to announce it, I think it would be, it would leak or it would come out of this meeting in the next couple days. And I actually do think that's part of it, at least for the PC stuff, right? We've seen Helldivers in real time become a hit. And then literally last week, we saw Ghost of Tsushima do really, really well, right? 70, 80,000 players playing concurrently. That game has probably sold a good 500,000 copies, maybe at least. I'm sure there's a range and maybe it didn't hit it, but maybe it went higher than 500,000, right? 4-year-old game. And, I think that just shows the quality of Ghost of Tsushima just in general, right? But that is probably another signal to Sony to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't wait half a decade anymore. Maybe when we release a Spider-Man 2 or a Ragnarok, which, the Ragnarok thing is rumored at the showcase anyway. Maybe you put it on PC within a year or maybe 6 months or, whatever it might be. So we might get that in general, but we need the showcase. And I do think now is the time to at least stress that part, right? Maybe if they don't announce it in the next 2 days, then Friday over the weekend, right? Then you start discussing, what in God's name are they doing? But for now, it's okay, well, why do they actually need a showcase? And I think some of those reasons might overlap, right? They really need to give us a good look at what's coming over the next, I'd say, 12 to 18 months, right? Year and a half. Because we have things here and there. And you have the speculation. You have the Metal Gears of the world. You have Silent Hills of the world. And it's very, very clear, by the way, specifically with Silent Hill, that they're waiting on PlayStation. I don't know. I just kind of believe that. You could say Konami has something to do with it, and they probably do. But I think it's really just waiting on a showcase. Okay, I think they've been ready to show off that game again and give a release date for a very long time. But you have games like that. But you really don't have anything set in stone. Even Death Stranding 2, right? 2025. Hideo talks about, the filming is done, and it's going to probably take a year or so to iron everything out. Okay, well, that's next summer. So Death Stranding 2 is probably fall 2025. You have the Wolverines of the world. You have a potential Venom. You have Ghost of Tsushima 2 that we talk a lot about on the channel, right? There's so much, and at the same time, that's kind of the funny thing. And honestly, through all of this, I think that's the most important thing. It's so much, and yet it really is nothing at all because you really don't have a lot of concrete things, right? Concord coming out this year, know nothing about it, and it's just, it's going to come out in the next 4 to 6 months. You have to release the thing, you have to show the thing, and I guess you did show it technically last year, but I think we're going to need a little bit more, than that trailer. But to me, that's the biggest point. And then I guess the secondary thing, which is also still important, the competition. Now, you could argue what competition is actual competition in the first place, right, with a console warrior type stuff, but I'm literally also talking about just fighting for your brain power to even focus on a game. And I honestly think that is a real thing, right? In the next couple of weeks, we're going to get hit, and it's going to be very, very exciting, by the way. We're going to fill in this year. July through, I would say, December is going to get filled in. And, June right now is already, so really after that, right? Summer Game Fest is really going to fill that stuff in. The Xbox show can do it. The Ubisoft show, Nintendo, when they do their second half of the year on Switch thing, right? Everybody's going to do it except for PlayStation. That's why And again, like maybe they don't actually do it, and that would be like the biggest shock of 2024, honestly, to me in the gaming industry with all the crazy stuff that's happened. But that's why it kind of has to happen, right? Because it all just makes so much sense. You can't let everybody else go. And again, it's not even like, oh, Xbox versus PlayStation or this versus that. It's literally everybody is just giving like updates, casual or non-casual, because these are bigger shows. They're just giving updates on their games, and then PlayStation's just not going to do anything. Meanwhile, they have a bunch of games they probably are ready to give updates on. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And, we've lost today. Tuesday is out, so I would imagine next Tuesday is out for the showcase in general. Now, it has been pointed out, like, there is sometimes a range. Sometimes it's 7 days, but I believe people have pointed out 6 days has been a thing once, or a couple times, maybe not even just once, and 4 days has been a thing. So I guess it's not impossible. I guess tomorrow or Thursday they could announce it, and it could still be Tuesday. I'm going to assume the weekly thing. But you don't have to. Again, like as it's been pointed out, it's not always like a week in advance. So I do think next Wednesday, next Thursday, one of those 2 days, and I think we get the announcement either tomorrow or the day after. So I don't know. I'm just excited. I mean, if you want to know, like, well, why also are you making this video? I want these announcements. I want these updates. I always try to stress, I don't need all of these games tomorrow. I'm not like super pushy and like rushing. In fact, I'm not at all, right? Please, for the love of God, don't rush your games. But I do like announcements. I do like seeing new things. We're going to get new things from pretty much everybody. And then PlayStation is the only one so far that hasn't, officially, formally said something. So I'm excited for what they got. And I think they can do some pretty cool stuff. Ghost of Tsushima, obviously at the top of the list, but there's tons of other games they could show either, for the second time or third time, or brand new announcements, right? I'm sure they'll have a couple of those as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.